Man, that intro was actually kind of quiet the whole time. Oh, now it's even getting quieter because the fade out. So sad. Welcome to the stream, everybody. I have some inexplicable fan art today. I don't even really know. Maybe it's not even Grapefruit related, which is a Buru rule violation, but I I was too baffled by seeing this. And there's been, since I've been not really streaming a lot lately, there's been a bit of a dry spell on the Buru, so I figured we'd throw up the Danganronpa t-shirt wearing dithering man. I don't know what this has to do with the channel besides that there's a whoa, resizing this has some trippy effects. Whoa. Can you guys see that? Is that like happening on your monitor too? The weird dithering effect? This is like when you look at a fence, like a chain link fence from really far away. Are you guys seeing this shit? You are. That's awesome. We can make him have like one dither by doing this. Oh god, it looks like AI at a certain point. Why the fuck does that happen? It's just because like, I feel like I understand in my monkey brain why that happens with dithering patterns, but I can't explain it with words. I'm too dumb. But thank you to Plucky Scuds, who for whatever reason decided to submit this picture of dithering man with Danganronpa shirt on the Buru. It made me giggle. And I mean, it looks good. It looks good. It's just inexplicable. We're gonna do more reviews today. Unfortunately, the fun thing happened where, like, I waited for my allergies to calm down, and then, like, literally seconds after hitting the start streaming button, my nose was like, mucus. So I'm gonna be a little snotty here for a bit, but I'm gonna try to, like, get it on lock and move on and do views proper. Give me just 1 second here. Nose goo can happen at any time. Let's hold on, I'm gonna, oh my god, this, I thought he was gonna say, don't cringe! When does this even play in Sonic Adventure? It doesn't matter. I actually don't really remember. Is this like just the credits for like Sonic's campaign? Anyway, no, not Audio Jungle, it's Sonic music, it's fine. Let's see if this just works. Nice, I didn't have this set up beforehand, so I was playing with fire. Okay, this is at the end of Sonic's story. Nerd! Sorry, nerd! Sorry, that was just because Joopy said it. All the rest of you who said it aren't nerds, but Joopy is a nerd. Welcome back to... Oh, right, yeah, I remember this part. Anyway. No, Joopy, please, no. It was joke, it was all joke. This is a happy song. This is a happy, nice song. This should have been Tails' theme. No, Tails' theme is I Gotta Fly High. And that one's awesome, too. We're gonna crank out the rest of these reviews, I think, except for a couple that are ongoing. I feel like Stardew Valley I can probably... I haven't beaten Stardew Valley, but I think I can probably give my overall views on it anyway. But Spelunky I am gonna skip for now, even though I mostly have finished thoughts on it. Sorry, another mute there. So, let me turn this down in my ears. You know, music with lyrics, actually, as cool as this song is, I find that music with lyrics is difficult to talk over, so I'm actually gonna... My Sweet Passion, is this like Amy's theme? I don't want this one either. Yeah, this is the, like, fuck me raw Sonic song. where she's talking about how she wants to like shave her pussy for Sonic. Hold on. And like, don't shoot the messenger. That's a lyric in the song. Okay, she doesn't say pussy, but it's heavily implied. Right? Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I am literally not even exaggerating. Okay, she doesn't say pussy, but okay. Now, let's talk about Metroid. Metroid 1. This is the poopy Metroid. It's the Dookie Doo-Doo Metroid. It's not very fun. It is definitely a part of gaming history, and you guys know I'm a huge 2D Metroid fan, and you know that I am a huge proponent of playing older games in a series, but honestly, this one's pretty rough. There's just, and the thing is, it's kind of heartbreaking because there are just a couple of things holding it back. Like, it has... Go out! I forget about that part in this song. Just kidding. I would never forget about that part in this song. There's a lot of rough things about Metroid that are like, oh, it's an old game, you know? But, oh right, there's fucking music. God, there's lyrics. Get the lyrics out of here. Here we go. This is the perfect song. It's got a lot of classic, like, oh, it's a janky old NES game issues. You know, it's laggy, stuttery, the graphics flicker. There's lots of fun little NES era glitches and hacks and bugs. A lot of typical kind of NES fare. But there's just a couple, honestly, there's a couple things that whenever they like re-release this game, I'm always kind of shocked that they don't just go in and like tweak it a tiny little bit. It's like there's so many things that I can forgive about this game, like a password saving system and stuff like that, or no map as compared to every other Metroid game. Because I think even Metroid 2 had a form of map, right? Didn't it? Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly there, but it's like, all that could be forgiven. It could just be like a unique feature of the game that it doesn't have certain amenities that later entries in the series had. But the big thing is that when you respawn, you spawn in with 30 energy out of a starting amount of 100, and by the end of, oh, hold on. By the end of the game, you've got like a maximum of like 800 or 900 health, and it still spawns you in with only 30 health. That shit is ridiculous to me. That's like, you know, in the world of retro games, we say, what were they thinking? A lot. And a lot of that is just because game difficulty was treated differently back then, and developers didn't know as much what they were doing back then. But the 30 energy respawning is like a actual flaw. Like I don't know what the hell they were cooking with that one, because all that brings to the game is a bunch of situations where you have to farm for health in a game where it's not very easy to farm for health. The only way to get a full heal is to get an E-Tank, and I assume if you're like great at Metroid 1 and maybe you've played it a few times and you remember where to go and you remember where all the E-Tanks are and you have like a map laid out, maybe you can just get through the game chaining together a bunch of different like E-Tanks and never like truly run out of health. But oh my god, it is frustrating dying in this game and respawning with 30 HP, which is like, by the end of the game, that's like a hit. Like, you can get hit by an enemy once at like 30 HP and you're just dead. And the farming is so slow and so tedious. It's like farming for health in this game feels like playing Desert Bus, where it's not even like you can just like hold down a button and like zone out. No, you have to like super specifically, like you have to get a camp out next to one of those pipes, you gotta shoot the bug that comes out, you gotta react to if it dropped something or not, you gotta jump over there and grab the pickup and get out of the way before another bug comes out. Because if another bug comes out and you're a little bit too slow, which there's not a whole lot of gap in time, it's like, oh, well, guess what, buddy? All that you just did was all pointless because you just took damage while trying to farm for health. Good job. And there's also all this bullshit about, like, rooms, the way the game generates pickups. It's like sometimes you'll get missiles when you don't need missiles, and sometimes a room will just seemingly run dry, and you need to go leave the room and come back just due to some jank in the code of Metroid. I don't even really know what's going on there, but it felt like that happened a lot of the time, more than you know, because sometimes it could just be like, oh, you're just getting unlucky, you're not getting drops. But I feel like it happened so frequently that it was beyond reasonable doubt for, like, confirmation bias. So that, as you can tell, the fact that I leapt straight toward that point in my review of the game should tell you that just, like, ruins the fucking game for me, more or less. And I've played through this game twice now, which I think the first time I did it, like, without a guide, too, or maybe I looked up a guide eventually, but I've muscled through a decent chunk of this game multiple times. I know that's, like, a pathetic thing to say, but it is frustrating that just that one decision holds the game back so much, because I think it could be basically tolerable if you just spawned in with, like, I don't know, maybe even just one full E-tank. I'm not even saying you necessarily need to spawn in with full health, although that would be lovely. I just don't know. I just don't know what they were thinking with that one. So, as much, you know, otherwise, it's like, this game's got cool music for the NES. It's got a very unique gameplay style for the NES. I think the controls are fine. It's got a sort of interesting, weird platformer control scheme, like the rest of the Metroid series in a way. But that doesn't hold it back, it just makes it sort of its own thing. Obviously, it's one of the first Metroidvanias ever made, if not just the first one, and it deserves a lot of credit for that. But I do think you might, like, and you guys know me, as much as I'm like, oh, you gotta play, like, Silent Hill 1 and shit, I don't know if I would recommend this one, genuinely. As many cool things as it has in it, it's just like, you could just play Zero Mission, and Zero Mission is so much better and cleaner, and has, like, some of the same stuff. It's like the sequence breakiness of it all. Metroid 1 doesn't even really feel like it has a sequence to break, if that makes any sense. Honestly, didn't I, like, develop a roadmap earlier this year of, like, if you're a new Metroid player and you want to get into these games? I think it was when I was playing Silksong, I was like, what would I recommend as people's first Metroid game? I would definitely not recommend it be this. I think I would say probably either Zero Mission or Super Metroid, basically. I would probably, I don't know. It's like, Super Metroid, the one thing about recommending Super Metroid as people's first Metroid game is, like, it does have the continuing plot from Metroid 2, which is, you know, you don't need to know that context, but having that context does help. Yeah, I tried drawing my own map for Metroid 1. It didn't go very well, because if you're not doing it, like, super meticulously on grid paper, it's very hard. It's really hard to make a handmade map unless you're basically, you know, making a guide for the game. But I think Zero Mission, it's like, I've talked endlessly about, like, remakes not replacing the original, but I do think, honestly, both times I've ever thought, like, here's a remake that I think actually could replace the original, they're the Metroid 1 and 2 remakes. It's Zero Mission and it's AM2R. I've not played the official Metroid 2 remake yet. But this is such a good song. What a great soundtrack. I do think it's like I'm like, gulp. I'm sitting here, I'm like sweating bullets, but it feels so wrong to recommend a remake over the original. But I think Zero Mission, it's like, play through Zero Mission. It's much better. It's much cleaner. It's a little more modern. It's got all the amenities of, like, the later entries in the franchise that made it great, right? But then here's the special thing: is at the end of Zero Mission, you unlock the ability to play original Metroid. So you can even get, by playing Zero Mission, a little bit of a taste of the original game, and you don't have to play the whole thing. You can just, you can unlock it, and then you can play it for like an hour and die and see that you get respawned at 30 HP and try farming for health and go, oh, this is like fucking unplayable, and then put it down and never play it again. So I think that's the ideal Metroid 1 experience, is stopping playing it. There's certainly a lot of cool stuff for the NES, but looking at this game in comparison to all that came after it, it is really hard to recommend it. So I am going to type a no in here. Oh, I am looking at this from the wrong account. I need to swap to the account that actually has editing privileges. Excuse me. But there are things to love about it. You know, the music, I think, is great. It's got some of the best early NES music. And oh, this is Spelunky shit. In terms of a number, that's very tricky. I'll give it like a 6, because all my complaining aside, there is a fun game in there. It's just, like, ruined by certain aspects of it. I also think the layout of the map is pretty terrible. Particularly, I want to say it's like around Kraid's lair. There's parts of the map that are just totally pointless, that just have like nothing in them, where you can get lost for like an hour in these samey copy-pasted rooms just linked up with each other, and there's just fuck all there. There's just nothing there. Like there's not even like an E-tank or like rockets or anything, like missiles or anything. That shit baffled me. I was like, I know it's the very first Metroidvania. Are there earlier Metroidvanias? But, there should not just be empty dead ends in a Metroidvania map. I think it's like, it's good that Metroid figured this out. Like, they did a test run where they had a Metroidvania with dead ends that have absolutely nothing in it, so that we can know for every other Metroidvania ever made to not fucking do that. Was Metroid before Vania? Here's the thing, I don't remember when the first Castlevania game came out, but the early Castlevania games were not Metroidvanias, which is sort of funny to think about. I think the first 4, I mean, there's like 10 versions of like Castlevania 1 and 2, but the first 4 of like what most people would consider the main series of Castlevania weren't even Metroidvanias. They were just linear action games, basically. So Symphony of the Night is the first Metroidvania, and Metroid is the first Metroid-like. That's nuts. Smile. OMG, that's where the Vania part of Metroidvania comes from. Shoot me now. Oh my god. I'm not gonna make fun of you for that, but that's awesome. I'm glad we could all learn something today. Yes, it's Metroid and Castlevania. I've been thinking I want to play the first 4 Castlevania games recently. I kind of, during my NES slop era, which has unfortunately kind of fizzled out, I still want to do more. Maybe I'll just have another NES slop era in the future, but I want to play those old Castlevanias, because I have Castlevania 1, 2, and 3. I guess 3 would be on my EverDrive. And I might even want to play the Japanese version of 3, because I've heard it's a lot better. And then I've also heard 4 is, like, fantastic. But anyway, that's for another day. Germa's doing Retro Slop 2? What do you mean, like, right now? I saw he's been doing, like, 90s games. Random, shitty point-and-click adventures and, like, FMV games and shit like that, which is cool. I haven't really been tuning in, but I do like when streamers do that, so that's nice. Northern Lions playing Bible games? Northern Lions playing The Binding of Isaac right now. What? He's doing Sega CD later today, that's cool. Oh, I wonder if there's anything on the Sega CD that I would want to see him play. Does that have, that Hummingbird game. Is that on the Sega CD or is that the Saturn? I get all the Sega consoles mixed up. It's confusing. It all started with like the Genesis and like Master System shit. Anyway, let's move on to a true classic, Snake Rattle and Roll. Bella looked at this list and she was like, "You're gonna give Snake Rattle and Roll a 4." I don't know if I'll give it a 4. Maybe. It is around that area, but this is a isometric snake game where you platform. It's like a platformer in a isometric pseudo 3D world where you pick up nibbly pibblies and progress to the next area, and that's the whole game. And you eat things as a snake, and your snake gets longer, and if you take damage, your snake gets shorter, just like in real life. And, oh, holy shit, we got a huge raid. Thank you, guys. Just in time for... Snake Rattle and Roll. It's a cool game. There are things to admire about it. I really, really love the way the whole game is like one huge map that's like split up into a bunch of different sections, but you can like see... This is something that like is mind-blowing for the NES. You can see later levels from the level that you're currently on, even though it's like, I'm sure it's not actually rendering that entire level. There will be like facsimiles of later parts of the game that you can sort of see above or below you, which is awesome. I think that's such a cool feature. Unfortunately, the gameplay itself is not fantastic. It's a fine game, especially like by NES standards it's good, but it's not mind-blowing. The only thing that was mind-blowing about it was the discovery that the pickups are called nibbly pibblies, with varying degrees of like other Britishisms appended onto them. Consult the manual for more information. But I don't really remember the music being that crazy. It's an early Rare game. This is a Rare NES game. Which they usually made good stuff. I mean, Solar Jetman, Snake Rattle and Roll. I don't think Marble Madness was them, but I played this with Marble Madness because they're both isometric. But Snake Rattle and Roll, there's some stuff that I appreciate about it, but overall, yeah, I mean, four is good. No, I honestly, this is not just to be a contrarian to Bella. I'll give it a 5. It was fine. It got crushingly difficult by the end to the point where I just gave up. It says quick look on here, but like really I gave up. Something's biting! Froggy! No, I would not recommend, but it is a cool game. For sure. It's got cool like sprite art too. I feel like it's like a good looking NES game for what it is. Alright, Marble Madness. This is a fun game. Did I end up beating this one? I don't think I did. I think I got quite close, but there's like a sharp jump in difficulty like right at the end that and the structure overall of the game made me not want to persevere even though I got very close. This is another isometric platformer-esque game. In this one you're rolling a marble around. This is a port of an arcade game. I don't remember what the company is that makes Marble Madness, but it's quite a fun experience. The original arcade game was controlled with a ball. What do you call that kind of controller? Just a roller ball, I guess. I might be getting that confused with like a rolling ball pen. I don't know. What do they call those? Roller pen? I'm getting off topic. Trackball. It's a trackball. I was getting it confused with a type of pen, I think. So... Oh, this is such a good soundtrack, man. It's like distractingly good. Marble Madness, you go through several different themed courses of wacky sort of marble run machines, and you try to get to the end in a time limit. And the time limit carries over between levels, which means in order to win this game, you need to have like a really good run. You can't do really badly on one level and then just squeak by and then be fine on the next level. You're probably gonna like fuck yourself over if you do poorly on any level. Doesn't this kind of look like Chris Deltarune? Anyway, it is a fun game. like many NES games, it was a little too annoyingly difficult for me to overall want to complete, but I did enjoy playing it. It's fun to control the marble as it's running through all these different courses, and the courses all have fun gimmicks. I really appreciated how there's a lot of unique stuff in each level, where it's just like, oh, here's an obstacle that we created and did sprite art for and programmed and animated, and you see it once and never again, and it's like, what marvelous restraint to be able to do that and not reuse assets over and over again. Of course, they're probably basing it on the arcade original, so this is probably just, you know, praise of the arcade original, which I haven't played, so I'm just making assumptions here, but it's a fun, breezy, sort of short game that you could, you know, kind of paradoxically pump a lot of hours into if you really wanted to get really good at it. And it also has a multiplayer mode that I think is quite unique and fun and well fleshed out too. I didn't actually play it with anyone, but it seems cool. Sorry, I got like a hiccup. I have like one hiccup. Anyway. Unrelated AF, did you see the Pikmin 4 update? I did. It's not much. It's pretty clear to me, though, that Nintendo is, like, building up to some sort of Pikmin-related thing. Doesn't it seem that way? Like, either Pikmin 5 or, like, a Pikmin movie or something. Just that little animated short didn't quite have me convinced. But now it's like, oh my god, they're updating the, like... How old is Pikmin 4 at this point? Like, 2-3 years old? That shit... It's setting off some alarms, some alarm bells in my head of like, there might be Pikmin stuff coming up soon, which would be cool. I don't need another Pikmin game, but I would probably play Pikmin 5, depending on... Honestly, if Pikmin 5 had the dog in it, I might not play it. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, though, Marble Madness. Marble Madness is a pretty cool NES game, even though I didn't, like, see fit to complete it. Honestly, 7.5. That's probably better than, like, Elden Ring, Night Rain, and a bunch of other shit. But, yeah, sure. For you gotta consider, like, whenever it says NES here, it's like, these are sugar-coated. Anyway, Tiny Toon Adventures Cartoon Workshop. This is another thing kind of like Videomation, which we reviewed last time. What did I give Videomation? Like a 1? It was not good. 2. And by not good, I just mean it's like not even a game. Like, in all fairness, I should probably just put NA here, because it's really not even a game. It's a creation tool where on the NES you can make your own baby Looney Tunes comic strips and animations. As with Videomation, navigating a animation tool using an NES controller is not very intuitive, and I found it very clunky and difficult to work with. It certainly seemed like they had a decent amount of options. I'm sure that this game was a treasure to some huge Looney Tunes fan kid in the 80s who just wanted to, you know, express themselves creatively. I'm not trying to knock on these kinds of products. I don't know, do they even, like, make stuff like this anymore? I feel like there were a bunch of things like this back in my day and earlier than my day, where it's like, oh, here's a cute little thing that's like, make your own Spider-Man animation or whatever. But I feel like they don't really do that anymore. Maybe I'm crazy. Or, you know, they probably do make these to a certain degree, but they're probably a lot less popular just because, like, editing tools and animation tools are so much more accessible these days. But, all that being said, this was not fun at all. Obviously, it's not even a game, so don't cry unfair at this, because I know I'm not really grading it on what it should be graded on, frankly, but I did not really enjoy messing around with it at all. It's clearly not for me, and it's very rudimentary. It's very old. It's dated negative, so that's that. I didn't even realize this has got the... It's got that motif. Holy freaking leitmotif, guys. Twinkle Circuit has... What is the other one called? What is that song called? Believe in Myself? No. It Doesn't Matter. And it truly doesn't matter. Oh, we're listening to the entire Sonic Adventure OST. I was like, I don't remember adding this onto the playlist. I somehow accidentally navigated from my jams playlist to entire Sonic Adventure OST, which honestly I'm fine with. That's why we had... earlier there was a song that was like 5 seconds long. That explains that. Anyway. Should we do Fire and Ice? What do you guys say? Should I do Fire and Ice? You want me to review Fire and Ice? Vote now on your phones. Donate subs if you want me to review Fire and Ice. This is Fire and Ice. It is a sequel to the game Solomon's Key, I think. It sounds like something to do online now, guys. Is that... Why are you referencing Dong? Is that because Tato referenced Dong in the most recent TF2 video? Apparently, I've heard that Dong got censored to become Ding. Speaking of Tato, Tato just subbed. What the fuck? Tato's here. Tato, by the way, I don't know if Lark got in contact, but he said you did a great job on the TF2 video. That's why I was asking if you had a Twitter recently. Because Lark was asking. Yeah, Tato gifted a sub. Anyway, this is the sequel to Solomon's Key, which I have never played, but this is a sort of puzzle platformer that operates on a grid where you are a ice wizard, not that one, who is... What is his name? Ice King? I think his name's Ice King, actually. Fuck. Oh, this is another banger. Has a wand that can cast ice and remove ice, basically. It's a very weird, specific premise for a puzzle game. But, it's a fun puzzle game. I found it really compelling. I haven't played more of it. I played it about, gosh, I want to say like a third of the way through, like a third of the levels, and the puzzles started to get to the point where they were like hurting my brain, and I just... Streaming puzzle games, sometimes I, stop playing them a little bit sooner than I would if I was not streaming them, because honestly, sitting there watching me scratch my head over a puzzle is probably not super entertaining, but I can vouch that Fire and Ice is awesome. It's a very expensive NES game, so you're probably not going to want to find this one on an actual cartridge to play it. Grab it on an emulator, or grab it on an EverDrive, or play it on NSO, because they actually brought this one to NSO, which is pretty cool. And I think the original Solomon's Key is also on there too, which I might play someday. But it's just genuinely a really nice, fun brain teaser game. I don't really have much else to say about it. I guess the story is kind of cool. It's got a very cute framing device that it's a story being told by like a grandma to her like grandchildren or something like that. There's like an old woman like telling these little kids this story. Duchess, it must be a fucking boring story though. She's like, and then the wizard took 2 tile steps to the right and placed an ice block diagonally down to his right, and then he stepped back up onto the platform above him now that there was an ice block there, and the kids are like, you know. But obviously it's, you know, not meant to be taken super literally. It's just a cute little framing device that you don't really see that kind of stuff. You don't see a lot of fun little story flourishes on the NES, so I really appreciated that when I saw it. So yes, I would recommend this, and honestly, I mean, I enjoyed the shit out of it before I stopped playing it. There is the possibility that the later parts of the game are like mind-numbingly difficult puzzles, but maybe I'm also just stupid, I don't know. So I do... Yeah, I'll probably play Sute Hakun someday, and it will probably end similarly, where there's just like a puzzle or two that I find myself stuck on and I go, okay, let's move on. But that game looks cool. Abuela was reading the game facts walkthrough of the game. Honestly, I mean, this is a great NES game. Seriously, I gave it like an 8. It's fun. Maybe like an 8.5 actually. Why are we giving it a low number just because it's an NES game? It's good. It's got good music and it's got cute graphics and it's got good puzzles and it's nice. Okay, Wrecking Crew. Not the biggest fan of Wrecking Crew. This is where Spike is from. Foreman Spike, the famous Mario character. This has got to be one of the lesser known classic Mario games, right? It's like nobody gives a shit about Wrecking Crew, and rightfully so. It is not a terribly fun game. There's not a lot to it. I mean, there technically is a lot to it. There's like, what are they, like 100 levels or something? There's like a ludicrous number of stages. But it's kind of got a similar feel to like original Donkey Kong and other similar type of games where the levels aren't big, they're just like arranged in different ways. It's just like every level is just a room and the different constituent elements of that room are rearranged in different ways. And you're going around trying to destroy everything with your hammer and set off bombs and set off like chain reactions and bust down walls, all while avoiding Foreman Spike's wrath. It's just a really clunky game. It's clunk core. I didn't really find it very fun or compelling. There were some parts, I remember I skipped to some of the later levels, and the shit that you have to do to beat some of those later levels feels like you have to like do exploits or something in the game. Like there are parts where I'm like, did they really intentionally design the game to work like this? It just feels so, it's like where a game like Fire and Ice, which I could maybe use as a loose point of comparison, has such intentful feeling puzzles where it's like there is a distinct, clever solution to this puzzle that you need to figure out in order to progress. It's like Wrecking Crew. I don't know what the fuck they were smoking with this one. It's got the Jenkum platforming puzzles. I feel a sneeze, but judging from my past sneeze experience, it's probably just gonna edge me for like a minute and then go away. Yep. Let me blow my nose. Yeah, I've heard that the SNES Wrecking Crew 98, isn't it, is actually pretty good. But I haven't played it, so I don't know. The original, I just did not find very fun. It was janky and annoying, and Foreman Spike is a formidable opponent. He really is an annoying piece of shit. I remember falling prey to his dastardly designs many a time. Even in the short amount of time that I played this, so there's really not much going for it. Honestly, it's like a 1.5 experience. I barely got anything out of it. Definitely would not recommend. Eat shit, Mario. Get fucking mogged by Fire and Ice and Marble Madness. Okay, Clash at Demon Head. This is another poopy NES game. I did not like it. I only played it because it's mentioned in Scott Pilgrim. There's a band called Clash at Demon Head. It's an awesome title, and I knew going into it, like, I had heard from other people, like, yeah, the actual game is not good. Like, it's not fun at all. But, you know, there were some things to appreciate about it. It had a interesting, like, level progression. I don't even know what game to compare it to, honestly, in terms of the way that like the levels are laid out. The map looks like you're going like, it kind of looks like one of those like ski slope maps. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you're skiing and there's a map of all the different like routes that you can take. But like in reverse, where you're like starting at the bottom of the mountain and like working your way up, and it's like you go into a level and you find a level exit, and then you get railroaded into the next level on the world map. But you can like choose what path to take. I'm really having difficulty putting it into words, but the way the levels, it's like, oh yeah, it's like the whole point of this stream is putting it into words, and I'm not doing it. But the level layout was interesting. but the game itself was not very fun at all, and the story was miserable. There were little plot moments and cutscenes and dialogue, which I appreciated. I always appreciate that in an NES game. But holy shit, it was like the most annoying, boring, shitty characters. I feel like, you know, like how when like a Western piece of media from like the 2000s, like the early 2000s, would do like an anime parody, it would always be this super broad, kind of shitty version of anime where it's clear that like the people making it had only ever seen like the world's most dog shit translation and dub of like Dragon Ball, where it's like all the characters are like ridiculous and irrational and screaming all the time, and the dialogue is poorly written. Clash at Demon Head is just unironically like that. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, this is such shit. Like the main character, I think there's like 2 main characters, but the male lead in Clash at Demon Head is like the biggest shithead in any game I've ever seen in my life, where he's doing that, like, you know, the like retro anime thing of like just like constantly angry and like screaming and super like intense and childish, and I was just like, man, I hate playing as this guy. So really kind of aggravating cutscenes, and the gameplay itself is like a platformer where you shoot, and it's not very fun. I would honestly compare the gameplay to like Amagon, which was another not very fun NES game. So would not recommend. There's really not a lot going for it. I think it's got cool cartridge art, but I didn't even get that because I played it on an EverDrive, baby. The platforming was like functional enough, and the level layout, it was interesting enough to like at least give it a 2.5, but I didn't play it for very long because it was just bad. Yeah, they would always do the joke where the character's mouth moves for like 3 seconds after they're done talking. Yeah. What the fuck am I listening to? The fuck is this? Chow Race entrance. Let's get this party started. Sorry, it's let's get this party started with a Z. I don't remember this because I never fucked around with the Chow Garden very much. Am I crazy, or like is like Chow Racing and like Chow Garden? I don't know. I'm gonna get fucking crucified for this, but like, what's fun about it? What is fucking fun about it? I don't personally get it, and I'm not trying to like shit on anyone who likes it, but like, what's the fun part? Because it's such like, it's like, I don't know. Kill him. Get him, boys. Everybody rush him. Fucking rush him. There he is. I don't know. I didn't really care for the Chow. The Chow Racing and battling and all that. It's like a cool feature on paper, but like none of it is fun. I don't know. Anyway, Peak. Let's move on. We're out of NES hell, guys. The 25 NES games added to the spreadsheet have been conquered. This is huge. Now I'm gonna probably take a decent amount more time talking about like all these. Peak. This is a friend slop game. I know it's. I don't mean to demean the game by calling it friend slop, but that's just like literally the best term that I can think of that we have right now. Like, do we have a better term that's as concise as friend slop that communicates the genre of video game that this is? Is there like a better term? Maybe someday. It's a VoIP game, voice over IP. It's like a Discord chat game. Because it's like there's plenty of games that are like, oh, it's like a co-op game. Oh, it's a multiplayer game. But like, I feel like friend slop is a specific subgenre of like co-op game. Social labor. Oh my god. That's like calling Metroidvania's search action games social labor. I kind of like it though. Seriously, who the fuck is that talking? Some of the samples in the Sonic Adventure OST are just baffling. I don't know what they're cooking with that. But this is friend slop. It's good friend slop though. A lot of times I say that multiplayer games sort of have it easy compared to single-player games, because a single-player game needs to, like, entertain you fully, whereas a multiplayer game can be dog shit and still be fun because you're playing it with your friends, basically. But I do think it's like, you know, I've had fun with my friends playing Skibidi Yacht Rooms over Discord call, so, you know, just saying I had fun with the game doesn't necessarily rank it, I guess, isn't necessarily like a real review. But Peak, I think, is like, not only did I have fun playing it with my friends, but I think it is a good game, and it is a well-designed game with interesting ideas. Did you guys see that there's a new Peak-like that is like very obviously directly inspired by Peak, where you're like transporting an RV? I think it's called RV There Yet. And you're like a bunch of little guys smoking cigarettes, and you're trying to like do a road trip with an RV, and the RV like breaks down, and you got to get it across like chasms and stuff. It looks kind of cool. But in that game, I couldn't believe it watching the trailer for it. There's, you know, the little like stamina bar in Peak. The RV There Yet has the exact, like, they literally copy and pasted the exact style of that stamina bar, the exact way that it fills up in little chunks, the little, like, stripey look to it. I was like, I can't believe how identical this looks. Just make it look a little bit different, like maybe make the stripes, the slanted stripes, go in the other direction or something, like not make it just a total copy-paste job, whatever. It looks like a fun game. But Peak is fun. I like the climbing mechanics. I enjoy games about climbing. It's a fun premise. I mean, in some ways, it did kind of remind me of Getting Over It, which is a game that I like a lot. Just in the sense that it's got those cool. The way the map works in Peak is it's like random. It's like pseudo-randomly generated, and the map changes every 24 hours. I want to say. So this can lead to some level generation that seems quite unfair, but you know what's really fun is finding level generation that seems really unfair and conquering it regardless. That feels good. Where it's like a human didn't even design this. It's like literally like an immutable rock face, you know, created by no actual designer, and we still got over it. That just feels fun and satisfying. And I like all the mechanics relating to like your stamina and helping your friends up. The weight mechanic, carrying stuff in your backpack, like it's all very cool. I love the way that stamina bar works too, where it's like it shares the stamina that you have, shares room with the amount of damage that you've taken and the amount of weight that you've carried, so you kind of have to manage it all and the amount of hunger that you have. It's a really cool, well-designed game, genuinely, and you know, it's a little toothless in terms of its like art style and presentation, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's accessible, it's friendly. I like it. It's a fun game. I give it like an 8.5. It was good, nothing super exceptional, but it was just I like that it's overall kind of a unique experience. I'm sure, as I said with like, you know, RV There Yet, I'm sure there's going to be plenty more, you know, imitators and similar types of games. And you could even say that this is, you know, hopping onto the trend of friend slop in the wake of stuff like Lethal Company. But I don't know, it's just kind of a new genre. I think a lot of people got really used to the idea of these kinds of games in the wake of like COVID lockdowns. Or at least that's how it seems to me. It's like when people were locked down, a lot of people got into like, oh, you know, I'm playing D&D with my friends over Discord and stuff like that. So I almost feel like this sort of genre of games was born of that environment. Is Among Us friend slop? Maybe. That's like prehistoric friend slop. Ancient history gamer. So Peak, yes, I would recommend. It's fun. I also like there's some fun details about it too. I really enjoy the like badge system. You get merit badges depending on stuff that you get in the game, and it's like there's all sorts of little scenarios, unique scenarios, where it's like be the only survivor is one of them, and then there's also watch from the beyond the grave as your friend ascends the peak and you don't, or there's like reach a checkpoint while all 3 of your other friends are dead, and shit like that. Those are all, I like all those little things, and they add replay value to the game, because if this game didn't have that, it would kind of be like, you know, you reach the top of the mountain, and then you're kind of like, okay, I beat the game, we're done. Even though it's like, you know, every day is a unique challenge. It's cool that it's got that stuff for the casual players. Anyway, let's do Katamari Forever. The new Katamari game comes out in like 2 days, by the way, which I am sad to report. I'm sorry to anybody who was really looking forward to me streaming that. I don't think I'll be streaming it. I'm kind of Katamari'd out. I played Damacy, I played We Love Katamari, I played We Love Katamari Reroll, and then I played Katamari Forever. And that amounts to me playing the levels in We Heart Katamari 3 times, because Katamari Forever is kind of just another showcase of Katamari Damacy and We Love Katamari. Yes, it also has levels from Beautiful Katamari in there, as well as like 3 unique levels, all of which are kind of the weakest in the game, honestly, but I liked this. I liked Katamari Forever, but honestly, I don't think there's a reason to play it. But by the way, I will be playing the new Katamari game. I will just be playing it off stream, I think, with my sweetie. We just want to play it together in a chill environment. I don't know, I kind of think personally that, like, Katamari as a concept doesn't really have a ton of juice to it. It's like, Damacy is a great game. It's like, seriously, probably a top 10 game for me, just of all time. Love that game, and each game has, you know, at least great new music to enjoy, if nothing else. But, oh god, this song. It's like, Katamari Damacy is great, but it's kind of basic. And then We Love Katamari just went absolutely hog wild and explored every other possible concept for a Katamari level. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, We Love Katamari was so good. How the hell do you follow this up? And it seems like the answer to that has been just kind of keep making more. And who cares if it's electrifying or exciting? Just sort of keep making more of them, make more levels. They don't have to have some sort of like new element to them. Just keep making more. And I kind of think that's a dull approach to making sequels, honestly. Of course, there's also all this baggage surrounding the original creator kind of getting shafted after We Love Katamari, and it was his wishes that they don't continue the series because he's an actual like creative, I think, and but you know, Bandai Namco was like, we like money though, and Katamari is popular and we like the money, so we are very much going to continue making these games forever without you. So that's kind of shitty, obviously. That's always like in the back of my mind when thinking about the Katamari series. But it's like, if you haven't played Katamari Damacy and you haven't played We Love Katamari, then Katamari Forever would probably be awesome, because it's like a compilation game between those 2 games. However, this game is locked on the PS3. It has no other versions. So I struggle to imagine the situation where you would have access to Katamari Forever, but not Damacy and We Love, because both of those have modern ports that are on like every console. So really, you should just pick up the 2 reroll games and not bother with Katamari Forever. Katamari Forever, it had some cute stuff. The like connecting tissue, the story, all the stuff with the Robo King, I found that basically amusing and fun and cool. But it wasn't worth replaying a bunch of shit that I've already played from Damacy and We Love Katamari. And yeah, there was some stuff from Beautiful Katamari in there too, but honestly, the levels from Beautiful Katamari did not exactly wow me, because again, We Love Katamari did everything there is to do. It's got the snowball level, it's got the water level, it's got the gingerbread house level, it's got, it's just got everything. So honestly, this is gonna be a very rare instance of like, I enjoyed this game. I'm gonna give it like an 8, but I don't think I'm gonna recommend it because it's a compilation game where the games that the levels are compiled from are now much easier to access than this version of it, which kind of makes me feel like it fails as a compilation game. Just over the course of time, maybe when it came out, it was a great treat for people who had a PS3 but didn't have the ability to play the originals. I'm sure there were a lot of people who really, really loved having it, but like, I don't know. It was, I think this no is very like logistical. It's like, it kind of gets a no on a technicality just because of its very nature. But it is a good game. It's a fine game. It's a good Katamari game. It's just, why would you play it? I just don't know why you would play it, I guess. Which is funny because I played it. But I did it so you don't have to. Anyway. Cruelty Squad. Holy freaking crap, Lois. I love Cruelty Squad. I just saw that Tato posted the spreadsheet in chat, and I saw like 5 people join into the spreadsheet. You can't see it, but it's at the top of the screen above here. I see Anonymous Walrus, Anonymous Fox, Anonymous Rabbit, Anonymous Camel. You're all here. The gang's all here. Anonymous Cormorant, Anonymous Anteater. Holy shit. Anonymous Moose. Wait a second. Anonymous? Is that you? Anyway. Cruelty Squad. Very cool game. This is like the best B game of all time. And I totally understand, like, I'm gonna recommend this game and I'm gonna give it a high rating, but I totally understand why a lot of people would be put off by it. It is definitely like smack dab in the middle of like jank core. It is hideous. It is a hideous game to look at. There are a lot of sort of rules of art and composition that I feel are deliberately being broken in this game to make it look at times as hideous as possible. In a way where it kind of does loop back around to having a strange beauty of its own. I know that's very pretentious of me to say, and maybe the creator of the game would punch me in the face for saying that, but it really does. It's like once you get past the initial like aspect of it, where it's like you look at it and you actually like feel like your senses are being assaulted and you feel like you're going lightheaded and you're about to throw up and pass out. Once you get used to how this game looks and sounds and feels, it is genuinely a really great video game. It is guys, what does extraction shooter mean? Cruelty Squad isn't an extraction shooter, right? That's like stuff like Helldivers. Let me look it up, actually. What is the definition of an extraction shooter? It's like a Hitman type. It's like an assassination game. Arc Raiders, Escape from Tarkov. Oh god, I don't know. Marathon, upcoming video game. Didn't this come out? Didn't this very much come out? What? I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked here. Anyway. Extraction shooter is the homophobic cousin of friend slop. Yeah, this isn't an extraction shooter. It's a different thing. It's like Hitman, where you get plopped into a level and there's targets that you need to assassinate, and you basically just do it by any means necessary. And you're given a variety of tools to unlock and use in the different levels to get the job done. And there's so many. The tools are like the most fun part of the game. Obviously, like the weapons too. There's a bunch of crazy weapons, but I really love just the amount of player expression there is and the amount of creativity that you can put into how you take on these challenges. not only does it have a very unique art style and a sort of vibe, the whole thing is this very satirical critique of modern capitalism and consumerism. It sort of imagines a hyper-capitalist world that's even worse than our current one, where everybody's morals have just gone to complete shit. Nobody has the like good priorities in life, and everything's just about, you know, financial climbing basically all the time. It's all about grinding. It's about the CEO mindset. It's this very, I think, effective and hilarious satire, while also really genuinely having a cool vibe of its own. It in a weird way, it sort of portrays not only the ugliness of hypercapitalism, but also kind of the allure of it. It kind of gets you sort of ludonarratively into the feeling of like a wage slave trying to rise to the top of the ranks, which I think is just very cool. It's very cool how it does that. But then in terms of just fun gameplay, it's also amazing. There's just so many creative, weird ways that you can solve levels, and it's kind of a speedrunner's paradise. There are some really late game unlocks that you can get that kind of break the game a little too much, in my opinion. I haven't looked too much. I actually want to do a speedrun of this game, and I haven't looked too much at like speedruns of this game because I want to develop my own route and my own techniques for my speedrun video. But from what I've seen, it's like the Annihilator seems like the key to most speedruns, because it's the thing that flips gravity upside down and just makes you fall into the sky. It basically just lets you fly if you can control it properly. So it's like, yeah, who would have thought the thing that just lets you fly unabashedly totally breaks the game. And it's like, I feel like all the like individual level records probably use the Annihilator, but it doesn't really matter. You know, it's like I've found a lot of joy in just casually speedrunning levels in this game, just for my own fun and enjoyment, and just grinding for better times using the tools that I enjoy using, like the Gripendix and the bio thrusters and stuff like that. But there's all sorts of crazy shit, all sorts of fun, creative synergies with the different tools and what do they call them? Enhancements that you can use. There's a lot of like joke enhancements too that have. Weirdly, some of the joke enhancements actually do have uses, though. Even the ones that seem like they're just basically trolling you. Even something like the Nightmare Vision goggles actually can be useful sometimes. So it's a really cool game. I had a tremendous amount of fun playing it. I always, when I'm doing work on my primary monitor, on my second monitor, I always go to twitch.tv and look up Cruelty Squad and watch people play it. And very frequently when I watch people play it, it's like people going, oh, Cruelty Squad, you know, I heard people say this game is good, let me check it out. And then they play Pharmacokinetics for like 10 minutes and go, this is like unplayable dog shit, I hate this. And then they quit. Which is like, fine, like that makes sense, but it's sad because the game is actually so good. And if you can just get over that initial hump, it's like if you find yourself playing this game and going, oh my god, this is like unplayably terrible, I suck at this, it's awful, who would ever want to play this? Please just push through like the first couple of levels. It's so fun, it's so fucking fun once you get like really into it. And it's, I think, also a genuinely a really compelling, cool piece of art that really, it blends comedy and satire and sort of higher themes really well. So I would give it like a 9.5. This is like crazy for me. There are some things that I don't like about it. I don't know why swimming has to be such ass. There's like water in some of the levels, and for whatever reason the swimming controls are just like the worst thing ever, and there's no way to get around them besides just never entering the water, basically. I don't know why it had to be like that. I don't know. But it's a really cool, it's an immersive sim, tons of crazy different like approaches. The levels themselves, the design of the levels are really, really cool, and there's always like multiple paths to your target, which makes replaying the levels over and over again extremely fun. There have been so many times that I go back to a level that I've already played a million times before, and when combing through it, I find some new path or some new little trinket or a new power-up or something that I never found before, that just makes it have seemingly nearly infinite replay value. And the way all the systems work is like genuinely really well thought out. It seems like a game that's balanced for shit, but it's actually, the mechanics are pretty well thought out, in my opinion. Anyway. Oh, excuse me, I need to take a drink of water. I'm drinking from Bella's water bottle because I lost my water bottle, and it's one of those ones that you have to suck the water out. So let me just suck for a second here. I tried to do it really loud so you could hear it. I don't know, there's something about, I don't know, there's something Freudian about the bottle, so you have to suck the water out of. I much prefer the Nalgene with the unscrewable top. Anyway, Fall Structure. This is a game by Stuffed Wombat and Rollin' Barrel, who also is a developer on Mosalina. This is a Mosalina team game, basically. I heard somebody say that this game uses the same engine as Mosalina, and that blows my mind, because this is like a 3D first-person platformer, and Mosalina is a 2D, like it's a very flat-feeling game compared to this 3D game. I don't really know how that works, but this is a fall down the Great Hollow in Dark Souls game, basically. It's, you know, not exactly, but it's a game where you're descending a huge structure, and you have these kind of fun, you know, the controls, did I say this while I was playing it? I think I did. The controls kind of remind me of this old indie game that I played called The Migration, which I think I gave a pretty decent review to. Yeah, 7. It's got these fun, kind of flowing, speedy, momentum-y, very fluid controls that I like. And it's genuinely a really fun game. I'm not just trying to be, like, world's biggest Stuffed Wombat fan here. I mean, I played Gaballer, and Gaballer I thought was cool, but held back by a lot of things. But Fall Structure was actually really, really fun. It's an interesting take on a platformer. A lot of platformers are about, you know, sideways or upward movement. You don't see a lot of them about downward movement because there's a lot of issues that come with downward movement. But this game, I think, works well, and it's a very short game, but there is mod support, by the way, that, like, doubles or triples the length of the game if you download the best mod packs. There were like 1 or 2 that were like really good, and then honestly there were a bunch of other ones that were kind of mid. But and I'm sure maybe somebody's made another even cooler, better map since I streamed it, which was a while ago at this point. But very fun game. I found it really enjoyable, and it was a really unique experience. This is like what I come to indie games for, man, is just a unique experience that I have never really had anywhere else. That's finely tuned and taken seriously and well done, with just straight enjoyable mechanics. I don't know what else to say about it. It was just cool. I like the design of the main level where there's a bunch of different alternate paths that you can take. I'm sure the speedruns on this game go crazy. The amount of time that it takes to get down there is entirely dependent on your skill level and your routing. It's fun. It's fun doing a controlled, speedy descent through this cool world. I gotta clear my throat really hard. I'm gonna mute. Oh boy. Oh, my throat. I've been doing a lot of talking lately, just with voiceover for the Zapper video and also this. But after I do this, we can get back to streaming video games. Anyway, Fall Structure. Fun game. It was really fun. I don't know. Again, 9, the numbers you shouldn't think too hard about. It's the level of enjoyment I had with the game. It's not like trying to be a measure of objective quality. It's not like, oh, here's how much effort was put into this game, or here's how much development time was put into this game. It's just how much fun I had with it. I gotta suck a little bit more. Joopy, I was thinking that exact thing. A fun, controlled descent through this speedy world. I mean, did I say speedy? I don't think I said speedy there, but yeah, this intricate world. Yeah, explore a world of fall structure. Check the fall structure game. I thought that too when I said that fuck-ass sentence. Anyway, yeah, I guess these days a lot of 2D games are just 3D engine with a camera that doesn't rotate. Yeah. Hollow Knight's a 3D game. Hollow Knight's like a 3D Unity game, isn't it? Which is funny, because it's like the most 2D looking game of all time. I guess, it doesn't look that flat. It's got layers, but you know what I mean. It looks so 2D and hand-drawn, because it is 2D and hand-drawn. They just put it all in layers. Alright. Deep Snake. This is a fun game. I've actually played this a few times after I streamed it too. Actually, same with Fall Structure. This is Snake. Just classic Snake, where you're a snake going around picking up fruits and that spawn in random locations while avoiding your own tail and other obstacles. Except it's like... Oh boy, how to describe it. It's like an infinite zoom. It's like... Actually, I don't know how to put this. There's probably some great, like, mathematical term to use to describe this. It's, you know that, like, that FPS? Where it, like, loops in on itself and it's... Oh, fuck. What do they call it? Like, fractals? It kind of reminds me of fractals. It's recursive, yes! It's recursive. It's like... It zooms in on a point at the center of the screen, and that point becomes larger, and it just does that forever. And you loop through these, like, different areas trying to get these apples. I don't know, you just have to watch video of it. Yeah, fractal is another, like, term that, yeah, sort of makes a certain amount of sense. But it is recursive fractal Snake with little, like, obstacles floating around in it. It's not the most in-depth experience. I mean, it's an infinite depth experience, actually. But it's a fun little time killer. I mean, I find it probably more fun than, you know, Snake on a Nokia phone, that's for sure. There's not much to say about it. It's got cool music, cool graphics. It's a very simple game, and I've enjoyed in recent times chasing high scores on it, just for fun, because it's an enjoyable experience, and it's a cool, trippy effect, you know? I think Deep Snake probably would have made a really good Whack Games entry, honestly. But alas, less sigh, we cringe on. It's still a very cool game. I'd give it like an 8.5. That's not the right column. Yes, I give it a yes 0.5 out of recommend. Okay. Lego Voyagers. See, the thing is, this is a co-op game, but it's not friend slop. It's like distinctly not friend slop. It's a 2-player co-op story experience where you play as little tiny Lego bricks, and it's a really, really cool game. It's totally dialogue free, but it actually tells a real story that actually genuinely hit me in the feels by the end of it, or at multiple points throughout. It's this very cute, fun, sort of sweet, emotional little story about these stupid little blocks that go, traversing through this Lego world. It's got a very cool isometric, I guess it's not isometric, because isometric means it's from one fixed perspective. But it's kind of, you know what I mean. It's got that Tunic look to it, where it's got like a tilt-shift photography sort of style, where everything looks like it's the same size, if that makes any sense. It's a very beautiful looking game for a game that's made out of Legos. it seems like with a lot of Lego games, I'm always struck by the fact that the people designing this probably had to more or less always base their environmental designs off of like what actual Lego pieces exist, which I know there's, you know, probably thousands and thousands and thousands of Lego pieces that exist at this point, but maybe that's even a conservative estimate. But it's always cool seeing these environments that are just totally constructed out of Lego, even though it's virtual, and you could just put anything there. They took the effort to make the world look convincingly like it's made out of Lego, which is awesome. I don't have much else to say. It was like fun co-op puzzles that were just enough of a like little physicsy puzzle brain teaser to be compelling without ever leading to any points where Bella and I got like stuck playing it. And it was just a really sweet story, really pretty game. It looked cool, it played well. It was really unique and enjoyable. I was shocked at how good it was. I thought it was going to be good, but I was still yet surprised by how quite awesome this game was. It's a stupid little Lego game where you play as bricks with eyeballs on them, but I found myself quite touched. It was good. I'll give it a 9. Yeah, they might have cheated in some spots and used pieces that weren't actual Lego pieces. I mean, I'm not an expert. Let me drink here real quick. Okay. It's funny, the little Lego bricks with the eyes on them, don't they look a little bit more like Duplo? Isn't that like the Duplo logo has the little eye? I guess, wait, hold the fucking phone. Duplo is made by Lego? Hold the phone, I had no idea. I thought Duplo was a competitor to Lego. I thought Duplo was like bootleg Legos. Bootlegos, if you will. Also, Duplo has a little rabbit. It's got a little rabbit that's got an eye. And a little cheeky mouth. Huh, okay. They definitely look like Duplo pieces, though. I don't know. I never played with Duplo, so maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. Anyway. I can't believe it's Duplo is Lego for babies. I had no idea. Has he never seen the Lego movie? I have. Was there a Duplo reference in... Was there like Duplo Land? I remember there was like Cloud Pink Kitty Land. Was that Duplo? Was that where all the Duplos live? The only person who didn't know that. I had a lot of people giving me a ton of shit for saying, God, people are pissed at me about not knowing about Duplo, man. People always jump up my ass when I say Legos, and honestly, let me just say, Legos, 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 Legos. I don't care. You're nerds. I'm shoving you in a locker. Fucking, like, kindergarten Twitter is jumping up my ass for not knowing Duplo was part of Lego. I'm sorry. I just never played with them. I never knew. Anyway, let's move on. Spyro the Dragon. This was a very pleasant experience. I went into this wanting an enchanting portal to the past of gaming, and that's exactly what I got. This is a very, very simple 3D collectathon platformer, with a bit of a sense of humor, but more or less plays it straight, I think. Like, it's got like goofy enemies and goofy dialogue, but more or less it's just like, here's a cool magical world where you're a purple dragon running around collecting cool low poly gems, and it's like, for me, that's all I need, baby. That's like, you've just described my ideal video game. I think my main takeaway from Spyro 1 is, for one thing, I guess the main takeaway goes on to list multiple things. The gameplay is very simple. You are just running around collecting gems and beating up enemies for the whole game. There's really not anything else to it. There's like the flying levels, which were really fun. Those were like my favorite part of the game, actually. But I think to anybody looking for like something really like challenging and complex, maybe this isn't for you. It's very simple. But honestly, playing this after playing a really hard game, like for me it was Silksong, was very refreshing and very relaxing. But my main takeaway is that this is a beautiful looking game. It's like one of the best art styles I've ever seen on a PS1 game, particularly like this era of 3D graphics. It's like a lot of games tried to do sort of cartoony, exaggerated character designs and environments that are reminiscent of like old cartoons and stuff like that, but a lot of them don't really look very great. I mean, comparing, honestly, the visual style of this game like mogs the fuck out of games like Mario 64. You know what I mean? It just looks good. I just feel good looking at it. It's just got a great style to it. I really love, in particular, the way stuff in the distance looks. It gets this weird, like, there's like this culling that goes on, I guess. This is not culling, it's more just level of detail. But the level of detail effect in this game looks so cool, and it honestly goes so well with the like floating point imperfections of the PS1, the way the PS1 rendered polygons. It's like the little inaccuracies in the way that the polygons render that gives them that kind of like liquidy, jittery look. It really goes really well with this art style. I love all the colors in this game, all the backgrounds, beautiful skyboxes. The skyboxes, I think, are just 2D textures, but they feel really 3D in a way that I find deeply enjoyable in my monkey brain. Hold on, did I just get a message? Something just like popped up on my screen, but I actually have no idea what it was. Do I need to update Windows and turn it into the AI computer? Yeah, the lighting in this game is really, really cool too. It just looks beautiful, and it's got a great, you know, I'm gonna say great soundtrack. Oh my god, wait. NVIDIA app, new reward available. Shut the fuck up, that's what it was. The soundtrack is made by the drummer for The Police, which is just a great fun fact. The soundtrack's good. It's nothing I would listen to outside of playing the game, but it's got a cool, unique soundtrack, and the visual style is excellent, and the gameplay is fun. I didn't really have many complaints about the actual gameplay, except that maybe it was a little on the easy side, but I don't really mind. A lot of people who are into like hardcore difficult games, which I think I'm kind of in that camp to a certain degree, sort of scoff at easy games and go, oh, you know, it's just a waste of time, you know, it's not worth my time. But I don't really feel that way about easy games. I like them, and you know, whenever I fought a boss in this game and the boss went down in like 30 seconds, I was like, that was awesome. It's refreshing in a way. And there was also the one part of the gameplay that rubbed me the wrong way, and it wasn't even necessarily like a terrible thing, but motherfucking treetops, man. That level, I was baffled at the insane difficulty jump in that level. It's like you don't even, you know, you don't even need to get anything in, like, I'm pretty sure it's possible to beat this game with, like, you could skip entire levels. Like, you could probably beat this game without setting foot in treetops. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe there's something that would prevent you from doing that, but it's like you can get the vast majority of the stuff in this game very easily, but then there's some stuff in treetops that just is locked behind this ludicrous charge puzzle. I couldn't believe it. I was like, the people who played this game back when it came out in the 90s must have been like just devastated by how crazy difficult this one part is, and the entire rest of the game is like a goo goo gaga game. Jesus Christ, we just got a bunch of subs. That is a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Orange is Borange. Big Spyro the Dragon fan. Anyway, Spyro the Dragon, I found it really enjoyable, and if you can get your hands on it, yes, do play it. Now, I guess I should also talk about the Reignited trilogy, which I played for a little bit, and it feels fine gameplay-wise. There are a couple of adjustments they made to the controls that I liked, but honestly, I hate to be the like remake hater guy, but I think that is who I am deep down. The art style in the Reignited trilogy just sucked. It was just, I just hated the way it looked. It was so like Unity core. It had so many like little things about it that were just ugly, that I think are emblematic of just general things in Unity games that all kind of come across ugly. It kind of looked like Yooka-Laylee in a way a little bit, which is not a horribly ugly game by any means, but it's like comparing that to the way the original game looks, it's like I can't believe they fumbled it that hard, and I can't believe people remaking this game. It kind of feels like they don't respect the artistry of the original game. It feels like they're like, oh, well, that's bad graphics and you see the squares, so we'll make a version where you can't see the squares and it's good graphics. And they just like ignore it. It feels like a childish misunderstanding of what the style of the original game was going for. But it's just sad. Just made me sad. So personally, I would not recommend this. This is considering I only played like 10 minutes of the first game just to like look around and see what it looked like, but I was like, why would you play this over the original? The improvements, it's like, oh, there's like slightly better camera controls. Who cares? Play the original. So I'm sorry to write off the Reignited trilogy so hard like this, but like, I don't know. I don't even know how to give it a number ranking because I didn't play it for very long and it revolted me. Whereas Spyro the Dragon, awesome. I give it like, I don't know, like an 8.5. I think that's fair. We got some good ones in here. This is a solid row of good games, and then Spyro Reignited trilogy. Yo, did you guys see that shit with the PvZ remake? The remastered PvZ release? Have you seen the shit show surrounding that game? That shit is, wow. I just don't even know where to fucking start with shit like that. It is like a historically botched remake. Like, they fucked up everything. They fucked up his order 4 times. I'm seeing people talk about the Demon's Souls remake. I don't think my entire time playing the remake will be complaining. I understand that it looks different. I understand. I'm prepared to play the Demon's Souls remake and evaluate it on its own qualities, while also, I think, fairly comparing it to the original. I don't think we're gonna get too bogged down. I mean, just looking at, like, you know, I think Spyro Reignited trilogy, when compared to Spyro the Dragon, is a much bigger, like, ugliness upgrade than Demon's Souls PS3 to Demon's Souls PS5. I don't know. That's just from at a glance. But I also think I will probably I'll be a little bit of a hater for the Demon's Souls remake, probably, but I think a healthy, measured amount. I mean, we'll have to see. I haven't played it yet, but don't like be. I've seen some people be like, oh, you know, he's just gonna bitch and moan the whole time he plays the remake. That is not my intent, and I think that would be no fun if I did that. And I want the streams to be fun, so. But I will be constantly going in the original, so prepare for that. Anyway, what does schlock mean? Oh, you're looking at the Danganronpa ratings. Schlock is like camp. It's like schlock is like something that you are capable of enjoying while also understanding on a deeper level that it's not exactly high art. Do you know what I mean? Schlock is like, I don't know. Like, schlock is like a crazy low-budget action movie from the 80s that has no higher ideas or artistry to it besides just being crazy action. Do you know what I mean? Like, enjoyable, yeah, good garbage. Yeah. That's how I'm using the term schlock there anyway. All three of the Danganronpa games, I found a certain amount of enjoyability out of them, even though I think under the hood they are pretty bad. They're pretty bad games. It's like a B movie or a B game. And I know when I say B movie, people are like, a B movie, you like jazz, but no, like B dash movie, the letter B, you get it. Anyway, PMEX Remix. This is a version of PM that has like Sans Undertale and a bunch of other crazy bullshit in it. It's got like, I want to say like 100 characters probably, of varying degrees of polish and jank and desire to play as them. Apparently there was a new version of this mod that came out like a week after we streamed it, which is kind of a shame. We probably should have just waited a little while if we knew that was coming, but it's fun. It was, you know, I mean, under the hood, it's PM, which is nice, /P+, /whatever. It's a huge mess navigating all the different like branches and versions of PM at this point, but it's got PM DNA in the middle of it, which I like PM conceptually, even though I'm not a competitive Smash player by any means, especially at this point. But and we still might play the new version of it at some point, just probably not anytime soon. I have honestly no real desire to stream any Smash games with Lark at this point. Not because I don't like them and not because I don't like Lark or anything, but just I kind of want to do other stuff. We've done a lot of Smash Bastards, and it was like, it kind of felt like this PMEX thing was in a way kind of a finale for that, but we've got some stuff in our back pocket that if we have the itch to do Smash in the future, maybe we could. Maybe if there's another Smash game that comes out, we could too, of course. But I like PM. I like that in particular this version of it, and a couple other versions, I know P+ had this as well, has the ability to toggle in the options so that you can just automatically L cancel and put in input buffering. That was very nice. That's a great feature to have to encourage play from casuals like me. The sheer amount of characters is somewhat overwhelming, but it is funny. I have to wonder, are there like tier lists for this game? Like, do people who really know their shit in Smash ever play this game and go like, oh, you know, this character's unbelievably broken, this character's unbelievably underpowered? You know, I have to imagine the balance is probably for shit, but it's a cool, fun experience for a casual like me. It was fun romping around and looking at all the different characters. I do have to say, a lot of the not base roster PM characters do have that kind of low quality vibe to them. Like, a lot of the moves and animations kind of felt not unfinished, but maybe a little undercooked, not up to the same standard of quality as some of the stuff that, you know, is probably, I mean, there's probably a lot of the animations in PM are just straight ripped from Brawl with like slight modifications here and there, if I had to put a guess to it. So, you know, it's hard to compete with first-party Nintendo Smash animations when you're just making a mod in your spare time. But oh, this song I love so much. Tikal. When are they gonna bring back Tikal? We should have like a whole Tikal game. Could you play as Tikal in this one? I wonder if there was like a Tikal skin for like I don't know, Tails or some shit. Anyway, it was fun. I had a fun time. I don't know, 8.5, 8. It was enjoyable. It's a fighting game. It had a bunch of goofy stages. There's an unreal amount of content in this, and I guess it's like there's a yes, but that's kind of with an asterisk of maybe you want to play the even more recent version of this game. We did have a few hiccups in terms of online with this game. It was just kind of stuttery and hiccupy at times, which was a little annoying. I don't really know what we could have done to improve that. It feels like Lark and I usually have a pretty good internet connection with online games, so I don't know if that's just like weird netcode or what. So she is in the game on Knuckles. That's fun. Anyway, she could have easily been a skin for Sonic or Tails. I just forgot Knuckles was also a base character in that game. All fucking Sonic characters have the same body proportions except for like the crocodile. I did see apparently in some of the new Sonic comics they made like Sonic NPCs that are based on other animals that actually have different body types, and all the Sonic fans were like, yes! Sonic fans are so like starved for real art. You know, okay, I'm not trying to be rude there, but you know what I mean. All right. Shut up, Dual Destinies is peak. Is that because this is on screen? I'm sorry. I did think Dual Destinies was a little bit mid, honestly. Particularly that ending. Woof. Oh my god. Pew. Anyway, Beat Block. This is an awesome rhythm game. This is made by one of the developers of Heaven Studio. I found this really, really fun, and I've been playing it a little bit in my off time too, just here and there, off stream. And I can't wait for it to be out of early access and have more content for me to play, because it was really, really fun. I find it to be like a pretty relatively accessible rhythm game. Like, a lot of rhythm games, you look at really complex. It's like, it manages to, by the way it works, have complex charting that makes you feel cool while you're playing it without actually having to do, you know, like 30 inputs a second, like some, because you see some shit in like Friday Night Funkin' and like A Dance of Ice and Fire, and it's like, I can't do that many inputs in that rapid of a succession over such a long period of time. Video paused, continue watching. Yeah, I'm still here, shut up. And by shut up, I mean actually speak. Anyway, Beat Block, it's fun. It's got that complex, cool charting while being relatively accessible. Yes, there were parts of it that kicked my ass, but honestly, in order to pass a level, you don't need to do that well, and the game pads your score so much with the blocks that you just... I guess the beats that you just block that are relatively easy, that a lot of times, even if I went through a level and felt like I struggled super hard on it, I would come out of it with like an A or an S, you know. So it's fun. It's got really cool presentation, really neat controls. Yes, there are some I think if I had to come up with a complaint for this game, it would be the notes, the beats that you have to tap the button for. I would love just like 1 or 2 more frames of leniency on that, because there were some parts where I was like, I felt like I hit it pretty dead on, but it just didn't count. The game just didn't count it, and I don't know if that's just a skill issue. It probably is, but just a tiny little, devs, please, just a tiny little bit more leniency on those tap notes would be so nice. But overall, it is a phenomenal rhythm game that I really found enjoyable as a casual enjoyer of rhythm games. I might still make a chart for it at some point, I don't know. Making a whole chart seems daunting, because again, this game like encourages really complex, intricate charting that's gonna be, you know, much more difficult to do than something like a Rhythm Heaven chart, for instance. So maybe I'll pussy out of it, but I kind of want to dabble around in the creation tool, because it's got a creation tool, it's got user-created levels. A lot of the user-created levels were very cool as well. The way that you can add custom graphics into it is very neat, and made a lot of the levels just super unique and cool and interesting and exciting. So I am very much looking forward to, you know, I'm going to put a yes here, but keep in mind that it is in early access right now, and it will be a more complete product later. But I mean, as it stands in early access, I was able to go through all the like open quotes story content, like the main content, and that took like 2.5-3 hours, and I was satisfied. Like, honestly, it's pretty feature complete even as it stands right now, so I can only imagine what it will turn into when it's out of early access. Anyway, what should I give it? Honestly, in my heart of hearts, I want to give it like a 9. That's right, better than Spyro, better than Deep Snake, better than Peak. It's peakier than Peak. All right, and that is all the, you know, besides Spelunky, which is still ongoing, that's all the ones on the main list. We are now going to go down to... I want to get migration out of my Control F there. We're going to go down to this section where I've got a few more for you. What is this, like, scary music? I don't like it. I'm scared. Danger, Chased by Rock is the name of this song. That really is scary. Danger, Chased by Rock. It's like a 2-sentence horror. Okay, did I send out a tweet for this stream? I think I did. Anyway. I hope I did. Is it Watch for Falling Rock? Okay, Poco. Guys, Poco slaps. I've been singing the praises of Poco for quite some time now. This came out, I want to say like a couple years ago, and it kind of flew under the radar. Maybe it was this year. But this is a point-and-click adventure game where you play as a funny little clown in a whimsical world that's kind of a maximalist, like Pikmin-esque world, where everything's very small scale, and there's a bunch of like human trinkets just lying around everywhere. That's not really a great comparison, Pikmin. What is a better comparison? It's kind of got like an I Spy book vibe. I don't know. Regardless, it's got a really cool, cute art style. Great art, great backgrounds, great models, phenomenal music. It's got such a cool soundtrack. Even if you don't want to check out this game, please check out the soundtrack. This game is free. It is like an hour and a half to 2 hours long on like a casual playthrough. It is a very charming, wholesome, cool point-and-click adventure game that doesn't require... There's no, like, moon logic puzzles, which I really enjoy, because that's such a huge turnoff for me in a lot of point-and-click adventure games where it's like, here's the part of the game where we force people to buy a guidebook, because how the fuck would you ever possibly know to do this specific sequence of events? But Poco, it's like, it has puzzles that are puzzly enough to feel like you're actually thinking about something and, you know, figuring stuff out instead of just going through the motions, without being a total mindfuck, you know, random solutions that make no sense. It does not have Grim Fandango-esque puzzles. It's more closer to... actually, this is probably not a great comparison. Fuck, what was that Double Fine game? The point-and-click adventure game that nobody cared about. Broken Age. It's kind of closer to, like, Broken Age puzzles, but honestly, Broken Age puzzles were, like, pretty mindless, so that's a bad comparison. Among Us, shut the fuck, shut up! Anyway, this is a fantastic, charming game with great art across the board. It's got tons of cool little set pieces. There's a lot of little moments where it's just like, oh, they just like programmed this one specific little type of mini game just for this one little moment, and it's such a charming and memorable moment, and it never gets repeated again. I always go on and on about this in a post-Elden Ring world of like, this game made something cool and charming and interesting, and then didn't reuse it 10 times. That's such an accolade now. Because so many games do go, oh, you know, we really cooked with this one enemy, we really cooked with this one mechanic, reuse it 100 times so they're sick of it by the end. But Poco is awesome. You have no excuse not to play it. It's short, it's free, it's accessible, it's got a great hint system even if you do get stuck. Bella and I we did get stuck at one point because there was a object that we didn't click on in one of the screens that turned out to be a usable object that we missed, and you just click the hint thing and it says go to this room, and that's it, and that's like usually all the hint you need. It's got a lot of great, like, very sweet moments, and it's also got a lot of very, like, funny comedic moments. Just a great game overall. It's like, I don't know, it's nothing super mind-blowing, I guess, but I find, like, almost zero flaws in it. I feel like it's a 10. I feel like it's a perfect 10. It's great. It's great and it's short and sweet and to the point. I guess, you know, honestly, I'm sorry. I actually am going to demote it from a 10 because the ending was a little bit of a schlep. I didn't really... the ending, I was just kind of like, okay, that felt like a pretty, like, box standard ending for what was an otherwise excellent, subversive, cool, interesting game. Anyway. Poco, play it. Literally just play it. Like, you have to just play it, please! Okay, DK Bonanza. I didn't... Is it Bonanza? Yeah, it is. It's not Bonanza, it's Bonanza, because banana. This is the most recent Donkey Kong game. It's a 3D platformer. You know what this game is. It's Donkey Kong Minecraft / Mario Odyssey, where there's collectibles fucking everywhere, and you punch through the ground, and you turn into animals, and punch through the ground some more. And I didn't really care for this. It was an acceptable experience, but it was very standard modern Nintendo. Yes, the gameplay format of, like, all the terrain is destructible, or at least, you know, most of it. There's like a bedrock. You know, there's materials that are indestructible in this game, but the vast majority of levels are just completely destructible. It allows for a lot of definitely, like, very creative solutions to puzzles and stuff, but, you know, I say that, but a lot of the time, just punching through the ground seemed to be pretty effective for getting a lot of just random bananas just lying around everywhere. This game has a very cool, like, core and premise, and it's very technologically impressive, and, you know, a lot of people hate the Donkey Kong redesign. I don't fucking care at all, honestly. I thought it looked fine. It's really barely different. Like, I know people will be like, actually, there's a ton of reasons why it's different. This and this and this, and it's like, it really isn't that different. Like, people are just used to Nintendo never changing their character designs ever. It's just like a very slightly different style. It's still very much DK. Yes, it's a slightly different take on the character, but I really don't care. Like, yes, okay, I will say going back and playing old Nintendo games, like older Nintendo games where it's the old DK design, it always just cracks me up looking at him. I'm just like, he looks so funny and kind of creepy, whereas this more modern one is more, you know, I guess like kind of kid-friendly, I suppose, and marketable. But I didn't really mind the redesign at all. I just didn't care. And there's a bunch of stuff regarding, like, the story in this game where it's like, oh, where does this line up in the Donkey Kong timeline? And I'm like, I don't care, and Nintendo doesn't care. Like, this is like a Pikmin 4 situation where it's like, you could sit here combing through all the details and being like, oh, well, this implies that and blah, 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 but this on the timeline, and it's like, they don't care, and you shouldn't either. You know, there's some slight story stuff where it's like, I guess this is spoilers for DK Bonanza. It's lightly implied that, like, the Pauline in this game is not the same Pauline from the original DK arcade machine, which sort of lines up with the whole, like, Cranky Kong is the original DK aged up and stuff, but, like, that's the most that you get, basically. I love what a good soundtrack. If they ever remake Sonic Adventure, they better not touch the soundtrack. It better just be the exact same soundtrack. Maybe in, like, HD quality or whatever, but even then, like, you better tread fucking carefully around this soundtrack if they ever remake this game, man, I swear. But DK Bonanza, you know, the story stuff I didn't really care too much about. Again, like, standard Nintendo fare of, like, they kind of tease that there might be some interesting story stuff, but then it doesn't ever really, like, pay off in any significant way. And for me, the big thing that brought this game down was just the gameplay. It was like, it's very fun, very well designed, great, like, tactile feel to everything. You know, the controls are awesome, the transformations are awesome. but I really would have liked it if a lot more of the levels were more structured and you had less like freedom. Because for me, it's like you have this ability where you can clap, and DK has this like sonar that spreads out everywhere and detects nearby collectibles. And for me, I don't know if I'm just a boring asshole, but so much of playing this game for me was just smashing through a wall, clapping, seeing where a banana was, and smashing through the walls towards that banana, and then I just get the banana. And I'm like, oh, was there some kind of like platforming challenge that I was supposed to go through? Because you can just bust through the fucking wall and just get it. And I feel like I did that for, I mean, playing this game, it was Bella playing and not me. But when I was playing and when I was watching Bella playing, a lot of the time it was like half the collectibles in the game. You're just smashing through a wall and it's just like, oh, there's a banana there, cool. It was less ooh banana and more oh banana. You know what I mean? That's my box blurb. It's actually a terrible box blurb because it doesn't translate to writing. So I really enjoyed all the little like, oh, you open a door and Pauline goes, ooh, I really wish they had recorded just like a couple more voice lines for Pauline singing, by the way. I hated listening to that one. Ooh, whoa. It's, shut up, do another one. Do it. Do you know any other songs, Pauline, please? That got really irritating by the end of the game. But all those little things where you open the door with Pauline singing and then you go in and it's a little structured challenge, I really liked those. But all the other, like the main like overworld levels, so much of it was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like dig through the ground and just get bananas. Like, this doesn't do anything for me. It felt like it had, you know, a lot of people complained about Mario Odyssey having that problem of like, there's moons just sitting around, but like that's like one moon in the whole game. It's like people always like, oh, there's moons just sitting around, and then points to like the example moon at the beginning of the very first main level, and it's like, yeah, that happens like once in that game. But in DK Bonanza, it really felt like there was just a ton of collectibles just sitting there, and it's like, it devalues collectibles in a collectathon when there's so many that they just like don't even seem to have value, you know? Does that make sense to anybody? Like, it's like, I love a collectible or a collectathon with a ton of collectibles, don't get me wrong, but there comes a point where it's like there's too many, and it's just like, oh, well, picking up one of these is like nothing. It gives me no dopamine whatsoever, especially when there's no actual structured challenge in between you and getting it. You just like find them lying around. I was just like, okay. So anyway, I found myself underwhelmed by this game. It's very unique and cool, but I did have like a lot of, it just got so like boring, and it was like, how do you take a game with these mechanics and controls and this like technical mastery and make it boring? But the answer is pad it out with a bunch of like filler, basically. I hate to use the term padding and filler, but like that is really what it felt like at a certain point. Like the game's just like wasting my fucking time, and it's like, how about you just take all the coolest ideas in the game and just condense them down into like half the amount of content, and it's just all interesting and fun. But then of course they can't price it at $70, right? Actually, this wasn't priced at $70, was it? I think this was a $60 game. Maybe it wasn't. Guys, how much did this game cost? The fucking system you play it on is pricey, but was it a $70 game? It's 70, okay, yeah, well, there you go. And obviously there's also the issue of the... Was the DLC 20 bucks? The DLC was a decent amount as well, which is funny because the stuff in the DLC absolutely should have just been in the base game. It should have just been a side mode in the base game, frankly. So if you're paying for all the content in this game, it's $90, and that's just, I don't know. There's this weird approach to modern like AAA games where it's like, we need to cram in more filler content to make you into a fucking mindless zombie by the end of the game who's begging for the credits to roll. And in order for us to put all that content in, the game needs to be really expensive. And it's like, wow, what if the game was cheaper and didn't make me emotionally numb by the time I was done with it? Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about it. I guess, guys, do we care about the spoiler? Does anybody care about the spoiler? Here's the thing. When you say that there's a spoiler in the new Donkey Kong game, you've basically spoiled it. That's... Does anybody care? Plug your ears now if you care about the Donkey Kong spoiler. King K. Rool shows up at the end, right? And everybody, oh, whoa, King K. Rool, oh, this is awesome. I found myself underwhelmed by King K. Rool's appearance. I kind of just don't care, like he's fine, but like, what, who cares? Like, I don't understand why everybody made a huge deal about it, besides, here's a character that we haven't seen in some time showing up again. Like, that's, I don't know. I found the discourse, or the conversation surrounding his appearance in this game to be kind of annoying, because people will go, oh, you know, DK Bonanza, no final boss spoilers, and it's like, okay, what could the final boss possibly be that's a spoiler that isn't just King K. Rool? Like, what, you fight Mario? I don't know. It was a Marvel movie theater experience. Yeah, it's like I clapped. I knew the thing and I saw the thing and the character from the old thing showed up and I clapped. I don't know. It was fine. It was cool. Oh, he made new King K. Rool, new Donk City. That's awesome. Whatever. He went Super Saiyan at the end. It was like, whatever. The one thing that I liked about that was when you're going through the final levels and you're fighting a bunch of the enemies from throughout the game, and it's revealed that, like, they've all been DKC enemies this whole time. And I kind of had a suspicion, because there's, like, some of the earliest enemies that you fight have, like, crocodile skeletons inside them. I was like, oh, those are probably Kremlings, right? But then in the last few levels, it was, like, revealed that, you know, there's this layer of the planet core that has, those same types of enemies, but they're not skeletons inside. They're just like actual fully 3D modeled Kremlings and like Neki and Zingers and stuff like that. And they brought back all the classic sound effects. I heard the guys go when you hit them, which was very fun. That put a smile on my face. But it was like just the simple appearance of King K. Rool. I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Let's go through the motions. Let's get this over with. I don't know. Am I joyless? Am I a non-whimsical individual? Whimsy is in high demand these days, I know. Yeah, and they did the fake credits, which is also funny. But I don't know, it's like when a game's most exciting part is it mimics and calls back to a previous game that just did all that stuff on its own. It's kind of like, oh man, what does this game actually have going for it? I also thought Baby Pauline, like, she wasn't super annoying, but she was kind of annoying. There were times where I was like, shut up. And I think you can turn her voice off in the options, maybe, so maybe I should have just done that. I also think the outfits in this game, like, they all look so fucking stupid, and they just clutter up and make DK's design awful, and the fact that you see the outfits, the custom fuck-ass outfits that you're wearing in the cutscenes was really, I was like, come on, just make them look like normal DK and Pauline. Why do they have to have the stupid, like, Fortnite custom skins in the cutscenes? Why does this have to happen? I also, it's particularly the fact that the outfits directly affect gameplay. They're like, this is an upgrade, and it's like, oh great, well now if I want to reap the benefit of these costumes, which is like kind of part of the point of why I'm collecting collectibles mechanically in the first place, now I have to put on these stupid fuck-ass outfits that all looked ugly. They were all ugly. There was not like a single one that was not ugly. Like, some of them were at least funny, which is something, but like, if it was up to me, I would have had DK just be butt-ass naked the whole game. I would have had him hanging dong. Let me blow my nose. But anyway, it's a cool game. I don't mean to rag on it too much, but there was, with modern Nintendo games, it's like it's easy for me to see the flaws while also just sort of glossing over all the typical stuff, because modern Nintendo games are always very polished. You know, they've always got like good game feel. There's a lot of things that, you know, you sort of take for granted in modern Nintendo games, but I just wish that there was more going on here, and I wish that it was more thoughtfully arranged, and I wish it was less bloated. There was just a lot that it left a lot to be desired, but I think I am going to give like a middling score to this. I don't know, like a 7, maybe like 7.5. I don't know. Let's stick with a 7 for now. And on recommendation, I don't know. I feel like I'm a particular downer on this, but it's like this is my list. So like, I don't know. I really don't know. Do you think this is gonna show up at the Game Awards? That's happening like relatively soon, huh? The Game Awards? It's exciting. I'm always excited for the Game Awards because there's approximately 1.5 minutes where the show is good, and I like that part, where they do the medley of the songs from all the different games, but you just know that medley is gonna be, you know, like Ghost of Yotei and fucking like The Last of Us Part 8. I don't know. It's not worth $70 fucking dollars. No, but you don't understand. It's padded out with a bunch of fucking mindless slop content. That makes it $70. Because there's so much fucking padding in it. It's long, guys. You don't understand. Whatever. It's like, whether I give this a yes or no, nothing in the world will change. I'm gonna give it a no. I'm gonna be a little bit of a little angsty, contrarian rebel here and give it a no. The one indie nomination for Game of the Year, if we're lucky. They give one indie nom if we're lucky. Sometimes. They've done it the past couple of years, but they do not have a consistent history of doing that. Anyway, let's move on. Stardew Valley. I'm gonna try to make this relatively short because we gotta get on to Bee Simulator. Like, that's where the real meat of this whole segment is. By the way, did I even mention this is games that I played off stream? I guess you could probably intuit that. But this is games I've played off stream but still wanted to give a little review for. Silksong, yeah, maybe. Anyway, Stardew Valley, you've all played it. You all know what this is. I don't know. Do I need to talk about Stardew? It's like one of the most popular games of all time. It's a farm simulator. This is like... Is this Patient Zero for, like, cozy farming game? Or is there, like, a notable example before this? I guess, like, Minecraft? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been seeing a lot of people in the chat being like, what the fuck do you mean you gave a 5 to One Shot? I did not care for One Shot. I'm sorry. You can go look at my previous VODs to hear my review of it. I did not care for it. Harvest Moon, yeah, I guess it's sort of the indie Harvest Moon. But Harvest Moon wasn't as, like, explosively popular as Stardew. Like, Stardew got picked up on, like, an international level. Like, Stardew is huge, whereas Harvest Moon is, like, a middling success franchise, right? I don't know. That's just my perception, at least. But it's a cozy farming simulator game. There's a lot of stuff about this game that, to me, comes across, like, very quaint and kind of, like, laughably amateurish, if that makes sense. I don't mean to be rude, but, like, some of the art assets and some of the design of it is a little bit like, wow, like, this is, like, the most popular game in the world. But I do get why this is a very popular game. It's a very addictive game. Normally these kinds of games I don't really get into, the ones where it's like, fall into a routine and work a second job that you have to pay to play. But yeah, Grandpa's Shitty Bed is a great example of some kind of poopy art assets. But it is very charming. It is very, like, addictive. It's very, I don't know, it's like a low-level stimulation to your brain the entire time you're playing it. And there's a lot of busy work, I guess, but it depends on how you play it, of course. But I think most people who play this game will find some kind of busy work thing that they find particularly compelling. For Isabelle, it's fishing. For me, it's cultivating and chopping down trees. among other things, you know, and farming and all that. But it's like there's a lot of kind of mindless activities to do in this game. It's a game of habit. It lulls you into patterns and habits that are enjoyable on a long-term scale rather than being like brief bursts of excitement like a lot of action games are. I won't go too in depth about like all the mechanics because there's a ton to talk about. It is an extremely complex game, and it has only increased in complexity with updates throughout the years. There's actually Bella and I went to a Stardew Valley orchestral concert recently, and Concerned Ape, the developer, was there, and he announced at that concert that there was going to be a new content update for the game. They're like still pushing out updates for this thing to the point where there's just an unreal amount of content. Like I've played it to the point where Bella and I, on our save file, what is it called? The community center. We fixed up the community center. We did all the bundles there, and now we're on like the volcanic island, doing various things. Although we haven't played this game in like a month, and I have a feeling we're probably not going to play it again, because there have been several times where I go, "Hey, honey, want to play Stardew?" And Bella's kind of like, "I don't really want to play Stardew." But anyway, it's a fun game, but I have trouble imagining that most people are going to like finish it just because there's such an insane amount of stuff to do and content. And it's quite a grind. I mean, this is probably one of the grindiest games I've ever played in my damn life, which is not to say I didn't have a good time. Again, it also benefits from being played with other people. I think if I had played this game on my own, I would have played it for like 20 minutes and then stopped. In fact, actually, Bella tried to get me to play Stardew Valley like years ago, and I kind of didn't get into it. Like, I wasn't like rude about it or anything, but I just didn't really get the appeal. And then it was only in this recent year that we tried it again. She had it on her Switch 2, I had it on my Switch 1, and we just sat in bed playing it together. And that was how I was able to finally like break through the wall and play it. So I will give a rating to this, even though I technically haven't finished it. I haven't like rolled credits. I haven't done everything. I don't know if I'll ever do everything in it. So I'll keep you guys updated on that in future review streams if that happens. But I don't know. My experience of playing it with my sweetie pie, it was like an 8. Sure, I'd recommend it. I don't know. You've already played it. Who cares? Who cares about this review? Anyway, on to finally get that shit out of the way. It's time to talk about Bee Simulator. Bee Simulator is poop. I would not recommend it, and I give it like a 1.5 out of 10. Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. No. Bee Simulator, it was... I'll give a little bit of information. Bee Simulator was a game that Bella and I were browsing around on the, like, here's the games that you get for free page on PS5. What is the, like, PS5 service where you get a bunch of games for free just for subscribing? I forget what it's called, but we had that. And it's a game, it seems like a student project game where it kind of feels like a bunch of first-time game devs were making something in, like, probably Unity or something. It is a conservationist game. It's about bees are awesome, and here's all the things that they do for our world, and in this game you play as a bee, and you go around pollinating, and it's kind of the gameplay's kind of like Superman 64, where you're flying around, just flying through hoops, and touching pollen and touching flowers and going back to the base, and it's not very compelling. Honestly, I think you could make a cool game where you play as a bee, but as it stands, all that we have in the world of games where you play as a bee is Bee Simulator and what was that Bennett Foddy Pico game where you play as a bee? Plan B, I think is what it's called. We're 2 for 2 in terms of like games where you play as a bee that are bad. It was just bad. It had like voice acting. The bees talk, and the voice acting is like terrible and amateurish. Like I said, you know, I don't want to be too mean on this game because it really felt like, you know, first, like a burgeoning studio's first development project, but I don't know, I guess I don't necessarily have the highest of hopes for anything they might put out in the future, because this was not a very good showing, even considering, you know, that it was almost certainly an amateur project. Yeah, Buck Bumble. I guess I can't forget Buck Bumble. I got that game. Bella and I own that. We'll play it on stream at some point. Bella's been collecting N64 games for like a year and a half now, and we've got basically every notable N64 game. She's just got a bunch of poopy ones that she has to collect at this point that are like, you know, Madden and shit like that. Just a bunch of like $10 sports games. But she's got a lot of the heavy hitters, and we've got a crazy collection. I can't wait to show it off, but we will at some point. I think we'll do some kind of like subathon thing where people can vote on what games for us to play, and I'm sure you fucks will vote for Buck Bumble, and we'll play Buck Bumble. It's terrible. Buck Bumble's also not good. But it's funny, because it has the funny theme. Grapefruit, if you want to drive 50 miles, I'll force my family to give you my old SNES collection. What do you got? What kind of games? Anything good? You got Cool Spot? Because I already have Cool Spot. That's tempting though. I mean, 50 miles. Do they live by Gold Bar? I got some business to do in Gold Bar. I could do two birds with one stone. We have Space Station Silicon Valley, which is a really cool game. God, it's like the temptation to just show off the collection is so strong. We've got it in what was previously my underwear drawer in my dresser, which has now been taken over by N64 games. Bella bought all these labels. She's got a bunch of clean copies of all these games, and they've got the labels on the rim of it that they don't come with those, but she put them on. It's like, let's just look through here a little bit. We got Custom Robo V2, Daikatana, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64, Dr. Mario 64, Duck Dodgers, F-Zero X, Gauntlet Legends, Glover, Goemon's Great Adventure, GoldenEye 007, Harvest Moon 64. We've got a ton. And there's some really good ones in here that I want to like play in full that are lesser known gems. There's some, like, honestly, Duck Dodgers kind of slaps. Duck Dodgers is a good game, despite being Duck Dodgers. We've got Ogre Battle 64. We got Super Bowling, which is like $600. The most expensive N64 game is Clay Fighter 64 Sculptor's Cut, which is like an alternate version of Clay Fighter. We do have the normal version of Clay Fighter, but I don't know if we're ever going to get Sculptor's Cut. That's like over $1,000. Which is kind of insane. Yeah, we do have Mischief Makers. Yeah, both of the Goemon games are kind of awesome, honestly. There's two Goemon games on the N64, and they're both pretty cool. We've actually played a lot of the way through the 3D one. Anyway, moving on from that N64 ramble over. We're gonna skip over Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people, by the way, because I just haven't. We've played like the first chapter of it. We just haven't got around to playing more of it. Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. I'm sorry to anybody who wanted me to play this on stream, but Bella was like, we are playing this together. Sometimes I think Bella gets a little annoyed at me that, like, a lot of times when when we're considering playing a game, I'm like, oh, but I want to stream it someday. And she's like, okay, well, are you going to stream it in like 5 years, or are you going to stream it in like a week? You know, just play it with me. So I played it with her. This is a DS Castlevania game that we played through the Dominus collection, which there's also a couple other ones on there that I may play someday. I don't remember what they're called because all Castlevania games have the same title. But Portrait of Ruin was cool. It was a mixed bag for me. My only other Castlevania experience was Circle of the Moon, which I suppose I could put on here, but who cares? I kind of think the ones that I've played have not been the absolute cream of the Castlevania crop. Circle of the Moon I don't really remember very much about. That was on the GBA, but Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, it was, like I say, a mixed bag. It's a fun enough Metroidvania. I kind of felt like it was light on the Metroidvania elements. There were because one of my favorite things in a Metroidvania, and this is something that like stuff like Hollow Knight and Metroid games capitalize on really well, is like when you get a new ability and you go, oh my god, so many paths have opened up. You know, you find like the bombs or whatever, I don't know, and you're like, oh my god, I can now go back to like 100 different places where I could place bombs and get to a new thing. Whereas Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, it was like whenever I got a new ability, it was usually like I can think of like maybe 1 or 2 places where I can use that. And it was to the point where it was kind of like these abilities feel less like Metroidvania abilities that you're unlocking to get to new places and more just like a slightly more complicated version of like a key in a door, essentially. But so that was a little underwhelming to me. I also found that the tone and story of the game was all over the place. I really didn't like the little anime portraits of all the characters. Like, I didn't really like that art style. It just kind of looked cheap and bad. And I didn't really like, I think, any of the characters. The two main, you play as 2 characters in this game. It's kind of like a Ice Climbers in Melee kind of deal. Where you're controlling 2 characters at once. Their names are Jonathan and Charlotte. I just say it like that because they yell each other's names a lot when you're playing the game, because whenever you swap to the other one, Jonathan, Charlotte. But Jonathan is such a little prick. He's such an idiot. He's like, you know what I was talking about with like at Clash at Demon Head of like stereotypical like meathead anime protagonist. Jonathan is the exact same way, and there were some parts, maybe it was just a poor translation from Japanese, but all the stuff that they tried to do with like the story for Jonathan just felt so ham-fisted and obvious and shitty. All the stuff about like, oh, my dad, he left and he never trained me in how to use the whip, and why was he so selfish? He left and he was so selfish. I hate him. And I was like, well, we're gonna have a revelation later on in the story that your dad was actually loved you very much and was just trying to protect you. And he could be like, he wasn't selfish. He was actually good. What? And I don't know. I hated Jonathan. But the characters, they don't really matter too much. They don't talk a ton throughout the game. It didn't really bring it down too much. It was just something, it was kind of funny, I don't know. It was like, it was schlocky. We were talking about schlock earlier. I felt like it was schlocky. Also, the way that he constantly says no problemo just cracked me up. It's like, why is this protagonist of a Castlevania game that's set during like World War II, by the way, why is he constantly saying no problemo? I don't understand. What kind of fuck-ass catchphrase is that? And now whenever I hear anybody say no problemo, I think of Jonathan from Portrait of Ruin. Anyway. I'm still talking about Jonathan. The gameplay's cool. I think my favorite part of this game was... Oh, wait, is the playlist over? I like the incredibly varied... Nope, video paused, continue watching. Fuck you. Is there any way to, like, turn that off? Like, adds playlist as a feature, and then adds the feature where it says video paused, continue watching. Like, maybe it's just to prevent people from, like, leaving a playlist on loop forever at 2 times speed to rack up views on YouTube or something. I don't know. What was I going to say about Portrait of Ruin? My favorite aspect of it is the enemy variety. There is an insane roster of enemies in this game that are just like all over the place in terms of like what they are and visual style, and you know, there's such a horrific mishmash of different like mythologies and religions and cryptids and stuff. Like there's the Mothman, but there's also like a big mummy enemy, and there's also enemies that are based on like, you know, biblical demons, and there's also enemies based on, I don't know, Roman mythology and stuff like that. It's just all over the fucking place. but it was kind of cool. Like, I liked that, and I liked the whole aspect of, like, each world is a painting that you jump into Mario 64 style, and it takes you to some themed world, you know, and I thought all the bosses were really cool. They all had, like, cool movesets and sort of interesting concepts behind them. All that stuff was really neat. I felt like the actual platforming and combat was a little limited, but honestly, it was fine. It was, I mean, pretty similar to Silksong, where you have the tools. It's like you have a standard move set with a bunch of different weapons that you can use, and there's also these tools that you can throw that, like, use up mana to throw them. And there was a lot of crazy stuff that you could do, and there's, like, super moves and stuff. So pretty cool combat, but the actual, like, game feel of it wasn't, like, spectacular. Like, it just didn't really feel physically good, like, kinesthetically good to play, but that's fine. There was a lot of variety and a lot of crazy shit that you can try out, a lot of different weapons, which I like. A big aspect of this game that I didn't really care for is, and I don't know, I think a lot of other Castlevania games do this same thing. It's like every enemy can drop, like, 1 or 2 items, but it's just at total random. I kinda hate that, because it incentivizes you to, if it's like, oh, you see an enemy has, like, a 5-star drop on them, it's like, okay, well now, in order to even see what that item is, after I'm done with this level, I'm gonna come back here, and if I still don't have the item, I'm just gonna go back and forth between 2 rooms, reloading this room and killing this one enemy over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, just grinding until I finally get the thing that I want them to drop, just to see what it even is, you know? I kind of hated that. I like that sucks, man. And yeah, apparently Symphony of the Night is like that too. That's a shame, because I'm gonna play Symphony of the Night one day and I'm probably gonna complain about it during that too. It just feels like, and it's like, there aren't items just laying around in the world. Like, I like in a Metroidvania getting past, you know, oh, here's a path that leads down a structured challenge that has a reward at the end of it, and it's a reward that you get and you have that reward. But with this whole system where it's just like the levels are basically just a path to the boss of the level, more or less. And like, there are a couple like upgrades here and there scattered around, but not a lot. And it's like most of the actual upgrades you're going to get to your, like, attack power or your ability to wield weapons is just going to be from random drops from enemies. So it's like, I feel like in theory, it's like, oh, well, if you just run through the game and don't grind enemies, then you're just going to get a wildly different build every time. But I feel like that leads to so many situations where it's like, well, I'm just fucked because I just didn't get the drops that should have dropped, or I didn't get any, like, high damaging drops, so now my weapon just sucks ass, and I'm in a later area, and now my best option is just to go back and, like, grind some enemies from some previous level to get an actual half-decent weapon. It just feels sloppy, and, like, there should be some guaranteed upgrades when it comes to, like, your weapons and your damage. It just feels ridiculous to have it all at the total mercy of RNG. That just bothered me. But I love the enemies, enemy design. The music was really great too. It had a really cool soundtrack, particularly the music in the Egypt level I really loved. There were a lot of cute little touches, like that Egypt level, the map is shaped like a pyramid, which I really enjoyed. And there are lots of funny, weird little moments, and I like the bosses. But overall, there were a lot of things that I think held this back from being the exact type of Metroidvania that I'm into. I know Bella enjoyed this game a lot more than me. She's into that grinding stuff. She likes random drops from things, and it's like, to each their own, but it's not really for me. Anyway, there was also, there's a few, like, just weird-ass moments in this game, like, there's that weird room. Anybody who's played this, you remember the motorcycle room? Where you have to, like, both get on these, you stand on the backs of these motorcycles and, like, run through the room, and you have to swap back and forth between the characters to duck things and jump over things while the motorcycles are driving through it. That was a weird-ass room, and it was very frustrating, but at least the game's got some unique ideas, which is cool. And I liked the whole thing how there's a boss that you fight really late in the game, where if you just kill the boss, you get a bad ending. but there's a thing, you can like get this healing spell that like cures them of being vampires, and if you manage, it's like a really difficult spell to hit them with, but if you like get them in the radius of that spell and manage to land it on them, then you like progress the story towards like a good ending where you cure this twin boss of being vampires and get like, you know, the positive upbeat version of their story rather than just murdering them, which is cool. So there was a lot of like cool, unique stuff in it. There was a lot to love. There was also a lot that rubbed me the wrong way. I'd probably give it like a 7. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little generous. And would I recommend? I have no fucking clue, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it was cool enough. I'm like right on the edge. This is like right on the fringe of being a recommend or not. But it was cool. It was cool. And the Dominus collection, I think, framed the screens in a really good way. The way the layout works, where it's like there's a big, it's kind of like, you know how people will like stream a DS game and unless they do the thing that I do where you have like a fake DS on the screen, they have these layouts where it's like one screen is really big on the left and then the information screen is like smaller and on the right, and then there's like a webcam underneath it. The game kind of formatted itself a similar way to that, but I thought it was well structured. I also kind of think this game probably looks better on a DS screen than it does with all its pixel art blown up on a HD TV. I think playing it on an HD TV didn't do it any favors, but whatever. Something that's kind of difficult to avoid with a port like this. Overall, cool game, but mixed feelings. Okay. That's it. My voice is so tired. That's it. We got through it. Strong Bad. Next time, hopefully, I will have finished Spelunky and Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people, but now we are caught up on the list again, which feels good. And now I'll wait a while to do more of these streams, and then I'll probably do 1 or 2 more when we build up a bunch of games in the list again. That's fun. I always like doing these, even though they take a lot out of me. My voice is so tired. Are you gonna stream Eugenics when it comes out? Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, it's so dangerous because like everybody working on that game has been like, this is like the next huge thing. This is gonna make Isaac look like an ant, you know? Like, okay, they haven't been saying that, but there's been a lot of talk of like, this is an incredible video game that will get many people ludicrously addicted to it. And it's like, oh man, like I don't need another Isaac on my channel. I really don't. Like, I have so many games I wish to play that aren't gonna take 600 hours of playtime off my life. Anyway. Can you get this can I find this list anywhere? You can. I will get it for you right now. Good Tato posted it earlier. Good Tato. It's just Tato. Good Tato was my father. Copy link. Hold on. Let's paste that in there. I think you guys should be able to see it from here. So yeah, go peruse the list, and you feel free to berate me for my opinions. I'm sorry if I had said a bad opinion about One Shot or whatever. It's all just my own personal takes. I'm not trying to do any sort of objective analysis of these games. It's just, you know, it's fun to just casually review stuff. I was kind of thinking I might do a scripted top 10 games I played this year list in December. Who knows if I'll actually end up committing to that, though. I think it's kind of fun to do those, even though top 10 lists are kind of schlock, as they say. Okay. What's the worst game you've played that you still recommend? I don't know. I do have a sorted version of this list. Don't I? Didn't I, like, sort it? It was like, yes, sorted... No... October 9th, 2024. Is this... No. I'd have to find it. We could probably figure that out. January 19th, 2025. Is this the sorted one? This is like an old version of it. Well, here. Give me 1 second. Let's do like sort. How do you do sort range? Wait, am I crazy? How do you sort range? Oh god, did it change? Fuck. This is cool, awesome music to accompany me figuring out how to use Excel. Here, data, sort sheet. Right-click the column. That's what I did. It didn't show up. Here, I found it though. Okay. Let's see here. So here's a bunch of 1s, 1.5s. No. Yes! The Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda. And I stick by that. You should play it even though it's like kind of poopy. And Super Mario Bros. Yeah, a lot of these... Donkey Kong Jr. What? Why did I recommend that? It's like not a bad game. It's just funny. Bo Jackson Baseball, Galaga 88. Bo Jackson Baseball, that's a wild recommend, man. I'm sorry, Laser Invasion? Why are you guys saying Laser Invasion got it? Where is that? Huh? People said 3.5 Laser Invasion? It's not even on here. Oh, it's because it's in a new version of the thing. Why is it a yes? What? I think that must be a mistake. I don't think I meant to do that. Hold on. Just unsort that. And go to my current one. Laser Invasion. Why did I give Laser Invasion a yes? I think that's a mistake. I think that's an error. Or error, not an era. It's error. Because right above it is the Lone Ranger, which is a yes. But like, think about it, Laser Invasion, no. That's not a recommend. No. I'm changing that, actually. Someday I'll probably go through this list and like, I don't know, that's probably... I probably won't do this, actually. It's a bad idea. But going through it and changing a bunch of my numbers to like adjust for how I now feel about them. I don't think I did say that Laser Invasion had cool ideas and was fascinating. I don't think that's true. Like it's got some cool stuff, but really, no way would I recommend it. Anyway, we're gonna leave now. I'm going to kill you. There's 30 people looking at this damn spreadsheet. You 100% did. On Laser Invasion. What the fuck could I say? That game is like... no. I did not give it... that yes is a mistake. I'm sure I said some things about Laser Invasion, but that yes is a mistake. Maybe... I could be wrong. But, I mean, just... I've thought about... It's a game that I've thought about a decent amount. Like, I'm not forgetting anything about the game when I think about it now and go, I absolutely would not recommend. It's got some cool like, there are cool aspects of it, but you can get those cool aspects in other NES games. You can get the cool flying stuff in, like, Top Gun, and you can get the cool first-person maze stuff done better in Lone Ranger. Even if I did say yes somehow in the past, which I think is very unlikely, it was a mistake. It must have been a mistake. Anyway, are we gonna go raid somebody? Is anybody live? Is Jerma playing... I mean, fucking NL's playing The Binding of Isaac. And, like, I fucking hate that guy, but The Binding of Isaac. You gotta. Like, what the fuck? Let's go raid NL. And I guess Jerma's gonna be playing Sega CD games later. I wonder if he'll play... Was it Final Fight Revenge? Wasn't that a Sega CD game? No, I think that was Saturn, actually. I don't think I've played a single Sega CD game on stream yet. closest, the most likely, of course, would be Sonic CD. But, well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what he does. And I think next stream will probably be either Keeper finale with Bella, or Spelunky with Bella, or something new. And you'll just have to see what that something is. Alright, continue